Good afternoon, and we're so happy that you have joined us today, parents and friends and family. I am Dr. Crystal Bujold. I'm the founder of the Gifford Youth Orchestra, and we are 21 years old this year. Our children are better organized than us adults because they rehearse. And today we had a couple of people who didn't attend. So some of this might be a little flaky, but we will work with it and you'll love us anyway, I think. Won't you children love us anyway? Okay. We're going to start our program with the prayer that our children are asked to recite in their class. From time to time, the children will stop and say this particular prayer, but you'll notice it doesn't have a religious connection, so it works for all of our children regardless of what church they attend. And I'm going to ask you to hear them say their affirmation prayer. Say that. Say it so they can hear it. Okay. I am strong. I am loving. I am capable. Would you join me in saying that with them? I am strong. I am loving. I am capable. And so it is. So we start our program today with words, with the song "Lift Every Voice and Sing." Now, those words are by James Weldon Johnson. I think you can see it on the screen. And his brother wrote the music. So the Gifford Youth Orchestra opens the program with what used to be called the Negro National Anthem, but now we are Black people, so it's called the Black National Anthem. And our first student is going to play that for you right now.
So he's one of the new students. How long has he been taking lessons? Since August. Only a few months, and he's done fabulous. So congratulations, Brother Elijah.
This year, the Gifford Youth Orchestra is celebrating the music of Black history. We begin the celebration with a composition by the renowned German composer and pianist Ludwig van Beethoven.
Ode to Joy. Beethoven is included because we announced that the Gifford Youth Orchestra is celebrating the music of Black history.
But that is not exactly true. What we are really celebrating is how music helped the slaves get free.
We're really celebrating how music played a part in the history of enslaved people becoming free in America. In America, Black history is usually only about the history of enslaved African people, not about Black history. And that's because Black history would include world history. Actually, Black history is world history because all people came from Africa. Therefore, all history is really Black history. So what we're really celebrating today is how enslaved African music helped them get out of slavery and into a greater degree of freedom. And you'll notice I'm using the word enslaved Africans as opposed to slaves. This is a new idea in the African American community because we were not slaves when we were brought to this country. We were free people and became enslaved. So it's a new idea. I have to get used to it. I have spent 80 years saying slaves and slavery, but maybe you'll join me in thinking about these people being free and becoming enslaved. And we're talking about how they got out of slavery and into freedom. When our program ends, we hope you'll have a better understanding of how the enslaved African people used music to gain their freedom. We hope that you and the freed enslaved people and the Gifford Youth Orchestra musicians and you will know that you are a part of the promise that a change gonna come.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keeps telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, would you help me please? But he winds up knocking me down, back down on my knees. Oh, there's been times when I thought that I wouldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Muffy Charles. Muffy is one of our vocal instructors, and you're going to hear from her students in a minute. But as she talks about a change coming, one of those changes has come to our classical music. We've often thought of Beethoven as not being a black person. And it's a change for us to recognize that his mother was a Moor, and Moors came from Africa directly. And so Beethoven is actually a black composer. And why is that important for us to know? Because our young people need to know that there are people of color, not just the fact that we all are African-based, but our young people need to know and see people of color doing things so they can emulate and imitate as well. Now we'll play for you Ode to Joy by Beethoven.
One of those changes that already came happened because the enslaved people got their freedom is something that every day, 24/7.
24/7, you drive more safely because an enslaved African's great-grandparents became an American citizen and created something that keeps you safe.
Tammy Broxton Brown is my name. I'm a board member with the Gifford Youth Orchestra, and I'd like to introduce you to someone today, Shirley Ann Jackson. This young lady was making black girl magic long before the phrase was coined. She is one of the first 2 African-American women to receive a doctorate in physics in the United States. She was the first African-American woman to receive a doctorate from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. While she was working at Bell Laboratories, Dr. Jackson utilized her extensive knowledge of theoretical physics to foster breakthroughs in telecommunications research, and her research led to inventions such as the portable fax machine, touch-tone telephone, solar cells, fiber optic cables, caller ID, and call waiting. She's an advocate for women and minorities in the sciences. Dr. Jackson has been described by Time magazine as perhaps the ultimate role model for women in science. And this has been a little known Black history moment, Shirley Ann Jackson.
And so you've just witnessed one of my errors. I intended to ask Tammy to give you the background on the yellow light, but I love what I did give her, and she did that well. Now I have to tell you about the yellow light, and I don't remember who invented it. Does anyone know? Well, pull out your cell phones and Google yellow light when you get home. But it was an invention made by a freed African the great-grandchild of a freed, enslaved African. And that yellow light does keep you safe, because without it, you would only have stop and go and no caution, no time to slow down. And in our lives, just in general, if I had slowed down, you would have someone giving you the full information on the yellow light. But I will tell you that we don't know which African tribe this gentleman came from. But when they arrived on this continent, they were unable to speak English. Does anyone know why the enslaved African people did not speak English? And our young people, if you know the answer, you can raise your hand as well. Does anyone know why? When the free people were brought here to this continent, why couldn't they speak English? Okay, you're whispering. Thank you. I see a hand. It was not their native language. When the freed people were brought here, they spoke the language of their tribe, and English people were not part of their tribe, so they didn't speak the language. That's important to know, because how could they make music together if they didn't speak a common language? They had to make plans to escape, but how could they do that if they didn't speak the same language? What do you think they did to make a change occur? Does anyone have an idea of what happened for the people, to the people, so they could make plans and make music? Does anyone have an idea? They prayed. Now, they didn't speak the same language, but when the enslaved people arrived, they were free, remember? They had their own religion. Every tribe had their own religion. They all had their own understanding of God. God was not new to them. And that's important to remember, because often we think that people who came here as freed people and were enslaved, we often think they didn't have a religion. They were not smart. They were dumb people running around in grass skirts, playing in the dirt, couldn't speak English, so they weren't smart. We often think they didn't have a civilization, but these people did have their own god or goddesses, and they prayed in their own language for help to get away from the enslavement. They prayed in the language they remembered. And they prayed expecting to receive an answer from their prayers. They prayed believing a change would come.
Have you ever heard someone say, man meant it for evil, but God used it for good?
You need a mic down here for the video.
Have you ever heard someone say, man meant it for evil, but God used it for good?
Uh-oh. 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 No, I'm trying to get back on here. Okay. There we go. Okay, here we are. So when the enslaved people were put on plantations, when they were put on plantations in Haiti, they were allowed to speak their language. And all of the people on that particular group of slave people came from the same tribe. So they were able to speak their same language. And what happened on Haiti is that the enslaved people made plans to get away quickly. And Haiti overtook the plantation owners and kicked them out. So this time, when they brought the people to America and put them in chains, they outlawed their language. The plantation owners said, "You cannot speak your language or we'll beat you. You have to learn English." So the slave plantation owners made the Africans learn to speak English. And then what happened? They could make plans to get away. They could write code music. They could communicate with each other. The slave plantation owners meant it for evil. They wanted to keep the people from being able to communicate. But God used it for good and said, hey, now that you can speak to each other, we're here today speaking English or learning English. And it's the most spoken language in the whole world, second only to Spanish. And we're happy to have our Spanish parents here and in our program to help us learn the second most important language on the whole planet, learning to speak Spanish.
So now they could communicate with each other.
They could make plans as a team.
Remember, the enslaved people couldn't make plans with each other to get away from the plantations until they had a common language, and then they could. They could work together, figure out strategies to outsmart their captors. Miracles happened. They could communicate with each other. They could make plans as a team. They could write and sing and play music as a choir, as an orchestra. Miracles happened. They could communicate with each other. They could make plans together. They could write and sing and play music as a choir or an orchestra. They could pray to the God of the slave master and secretly continued to pray to their own gods. Miracles truly happened. They could trick the slave master with code words in their songs. They prayed together, they learned English together, and talked together until eventually an answer came.
What do you think was the answer? No, an answer came in the form of a train. A train that ran on the Underground Railway.
Do you know who this woman is? The conductor of the Underground Railroad?
How do you suppose the enslaved people know when the train was coming? Anybody have an idea on that?
Did they hear the bright line horn? Code music was used by the people who were determined to be free, to dream about their own future, to follow their dreams, to help people live with more violins, less violence, and better tomorrows.
You know, all music is coded. The piano piece that we're going to hear is full of difficult codes.
This piano piece is full of difficult codes, but GYO pianists will one day decode it.
GYO music students can decode math symbols the same way they decode music.
Enslaved African people used a different kind of code.
The enslaved either wrote music that had secret messages in it, or they used music that the plantation owners thought was about God and heaven.
And when they sang music about the chariot coming, the plantation owners thought they were singing about angels coming to take them to heaven. Sometimes they were, but not always.
Hello, Shanton. I greeted him earlier today, and he always calls me Dr. Boujol, but today he called me Dr. Buddy. That's what happens when they become teens. He's been with us. How long you been with us, Shanton? 5 years. Thank you, darling, for staying with us.
Sometimes the Africans were singing about Harriet Tubman coming to take them away from slavery on the Underground Railway in her chariot.
The young lady on the side who was tapping her foot is our most recent high school graduate. No, no. Raise your hand, Tatiana, the young lady, Tatiana Wallace. And Tatiana is now employed by the Gifford Youth Orchestra as an instructor for our beginning and intermediate violinists. So the two violinists that you saw today are new students with Tatiana, and I do want to thank you, Tatiana, and your beginning students. The music, they used music. The enslaved people used music to send messages to each other. Code music was their cell phone. If you have a cell phone, just imagine trying to make plans to escape without one. And what they used was their code music. Jane Burton one of our board members, is going to tell you about the cell phone that once upon a time was only a dream.
It's my pleasure today to be able to talk to you about one of the most renowned black nuclear scientists. The words rocket science and Henry T. Simpson, Jr., a black American inventor, are synonymous. Dr. Simpson was a brilliant and accomplished nuclear and aerospace engineering pioneer. He was born in Jackson, Mississippi in 1934. He attended Morehouse College, a historical black college and university in Atlanta, Georgia, for 2 years. From there, he transferred to Purdue University, where he received his Bachelor of Science degree in chemical engineering in 1956. But Henry Sampson was a determined student, so he continued his education at the University of California, Los Angeles, we know it as UCLA today, receiving a Master's of Science degree in engineering in 1961. Continuing his postgraduate education at the University of Illinois in urban Champaign, he received his Master's of Science in nuclear engineering in 1965. In 1967, when he received his PhD from there, Dr. Simpson was the first black American to receive a doctorate in nuclear engineering in the United States. Dr. Sampson held many important professional positions during his prolific career. After earning his BS degree in chemical engineering, he accepted an appointment as a research engineer with the U.S. Naval Weapons Center in China Lake, California from 1956 to 61. After completing his PhD in nuclear engineering, Sampson accepted a position as a project engineer with the Aerospace Corporation in El Segundo, California. Don't know how to pronounce it, but sorry about that.
I'm from California. It's El Segundo.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I should ask you first. He held this post from 67 until 61. He was later appointed Director of Planning and Operations for the Aerospace Corporation from 1981 to 87, where his research team focused on the powering and launching of satellites. He specialized in the area of high energy, solid propellants, and case bonding materials for solid rocket motors. He often noted in his interviews that this was one of the few places that would hire a black engineer at that time. Foremost, Dr. Sampson is remembered for the gamma electrical cell he co-invented with George H. Miley. This gamma electrical cell was a major invention for its ability to directly convert high-energy gamma rays into electricity, providing a long-lasting power source for satellites and long-range space exploration missiles and solid fuel rockets. I know that's a lot of science, but I thought it was pretty interesting. But equally as important, this gamma electrical cell inspired the creation of the technology used by Motorola in developing cell phones and other devices utilizing created electrical power. Besides receiving a patent for his gamma electrical cell, Dr. Sampson received patents for a binder system for propellants and explosives and a case binding system for cased composite propellants, both inventions relating to solid rocket motors. Dr. Sampson received the following prestigious awards. In 2009, he received the Outstanding Chemical Engineer Award from Purdue University. In 2012, he won the Entrepreneur of the Year Award from the Friends of Engineering, Computer Science, and Technology from California State University, Los Angeles. Interesting as well is the fact that Dr. Sampson was also known as a writer and film historian. He wrote the book entitled Blacks in Black and White, a source book on black films. This book and his films are stored in Jackson, Mississippi, at the university there. In closing, as Dr. Sampson was often quoted as saying, while I didn't invent the cell phone, I did make cell phones possible. Because of Dr. Sampson's inventions and patent of the gamma electrical cell, cell phones are possible by using these radio waves to transmit and receive audio visuals. This technology has literally changed the world and the way in which we communicate in our professional and personal lives. So when we think of communication, technology giants, remember to always recognize the technological contributions of Dr. T. Sampson, nuclear engineer. Thank you.
Now, we just heard about a relatively recent person, Dr. Sampson, but I want to go back now to share some words with you that were said by Harriet Tubman, who we already know was very, very instrumental in providing the Underground Railroad. And she said, every great dream begins with a dreamer.
The enslaved people were dreamers.
Harriet told dreamers to follow the stars to freedom.
Thank goodness for the North Star lighting up the dark nights with its twinkling brilliance. And now I think we're going to hear a rendition of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Thank goodness for the North Star lighting up the dark nights with its twinkling brilliance. Harriet Tubman told them to follow the twinkling star located at the tip of the Little Dipper. What is a dipper? Well, a dipper is also known as something to drink from. Did she mean they should follow the drinking teacup? Did she mean they should follow the drinking glass? What do you think, folks? There's also something we call the drinking gourd.
On the picture, you'll see, and you've seen this before, in the heavens there are figures that we can make out of the stars and the planets. And at the tip of the Little Dipper is the North Star. the tip of the Big Dipper points to that North Star, and that North Star is what Harriet was telling the enslaved people to follow when she told them to follow the drinking gourd.
They could write and sing and play music as a choir or an orchestra and create code songs. To follow Harriet's instructions, they created a code song as a call and response. The slave owners thought it was a work song or a song about heaven, but it was really a map. They were able to create songs about maps, so they were also able to make other plans to help them escape. Do you know where on the map they were trying to go? Where were they trying to go?
You'll see on this map, the dark color are the states that held slaves or enslaved people. And running from the Mississippi River, Jack, could you just go over there to the tip of the Mississippi, and you'll see the tip of the river. I knew you'd find it. And following on up all the way to Pennsylvania. That's the Ohio River. And you notice how it's separating the slave states from the free states. And that's the river that the slaves had to cross. Oh, I just gave you the answer to the next question. Well, then you'll be able to answer the question. Because the song you heard about follow the drinking gourd was to get people to go north. Going from, if you see where the slaves were, they had to travel north in some way, shape, or form to get to the free slaves. And that's what that song was about, follow the drinking gourd. So, do you know where on the map they were trying to go? Yes. They were trying to get free, and what did they have to cross to get free? Oh, wait, we have a hand up here.
I'll bet Tammy's going to tell us, even though I know.
The Ohio River
Yeah.
to get to the free states up
Why were
north.
they trying to cross the river to the Ohio? Why were they trying to cross that river, the Ohio River?
Well, the Ohio River was the most important escape route for fugitive slaves. It is known as the most famous dividing line between the North and the South and between freedom and enslavement. This is what we are really celebrating, how the music of America's Black history, the music of the enslaved Africans, helped them get out of slavery and into a greater degree of freedom. Some of the enslaved Africans were trying to get away from the South and go to the North, to the free American states, and up to Canada, to places where they would no longer be enslaved. In order to get away from the South, they had to cross the what river? Ohio. Very good, class. To be free. And sometimes they had to wade in the water. Put your hands together and clap and sing with us.
And so you'll notice that some of our children are enrolled in more than one program. We had Justice, who is also a violinist. Come here, darling. I cannot remember your name, so you have to tell me. Come here, Karen. Yeah, Karen. Karen and Justice singing duet. Karen is always beautiful for us. And we also have, thank you, Karen, stand up, Justice, take a bow. But also, I want you to notice that the director of our vocal program, Muffy Charles, is accompanied by her mother, Ellen Charles, at the piano, who, wait a minute, who is also one of our piano teachers. She has about 25 piano students in our program. So take a bow, Miss Ellen, let them see who you are. Now we want to tell you that once the enslaved found freedom, they vowed to never return to slavery. Once they found freedom, and freedom is the song we're going to hear, because no, we're not going to hear freedom. Okay, we're not going to hear freedom today, but I want you to know that once they found freedom, they vowed never to return. That is, except for whom?
Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
19.
What is 19? What is 19?
Harriet Tubman made 19 trips across the South to Maryland.
Oh.
More than 300.
What is 300?
That's how many enslaved Africans were rescued by Harriet Tubman and her Underground Railroad.
Harriet Tubman said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I would have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. Some of the enslaved people had come to think of being enslaved as a way of life. And when you think about what it took for them to get freed, and they didn't know they were a slave, do you think they're free today? No, they aren't. And their children don't know it, and their children's children don't know it. And that's why it's important to continue to have Black History Month programs to help people wake up and stay awake. Not only children of the enslaved African people, but also children of the free white people, not the plantation owners, but the free white people that helped them get to freedom. And also the children of the plantation owners. We need everybody to wake up and stay awake so that we can really have, I think it's on the next slide. Thank you. So that we can all stand up and respect and appreciate each other.
Weight on my shoulder, a bullet in my oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, when I can for my people. And for the clouds when we're back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping wading through muddy waters. You know I got made of mud. And I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And while the fight is strength in the God as daylight dies, so I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone. And I just might fail, but Lord knows I try. Sure, stars fill up the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you.
You know, it's times like this in the life of the Gifford Youth Orchestra that um, I'm brought to tears because I see these children when they first join us and they don't know anything about how to do what we're going to train them to do. And then, you know, they stand up and play the violin, which is the hardest instrument to learn in the orchestra. But they play it. They don't know it's hard. And they sit at the piano. Miss Charles says, put your finger here, and they put their finger there, and the next thing you know, they're reading music and moving their hands across the keys. And they could come in singing the way they do pop songs, the way they do when they're listening to the radio, but they learn how to sing differently. They learn voice control. They learn how to read music. And you've seen an example of some of the things that these children accomplish. They get up on the stage in front of you and perform, and if they have to change a mic, they switch the mics. They do whatever needs to be done to make the song work. You know, I'm just so proud of these children, and I hope you are proud of your children as well. So these children, these enslaved people, prayed, they had dreams, they crossed the river, they stood up, And they've made us proud of what they did. But also, same has happened with these children. They've prayed, they've had dreams, they've crossed the river. They didn't know each other when they joined the program. They made friends. They stood up together, and today they are making their ancestors proud of them.
You too could make a change in the world, the same way the enslaved people changed the world when they got their freedom. They invented things you use today.
Now, Dr. Minotti has a story for you about a free African American woman who invented something that helps people's eyesight stay healthy, even when they are old. And what he's going to talk to you about is something he did for me that helped my eyes so that I can continue to read without glasses. Dr. Paul Minotti.
Thank you, Dr. Bajol. Isn't it nice? Isn't it a nice dream, and isn't it nice to be introduced by a community treasure? But anyway, today I'm going to talk about, pardon me, Dr. Patricia Bath. How do we advance? Dr. Patricia E. Bath was a trailblazing African-American pioneering ophthalmologist. That's a big word for a doctor who takes care of the health of people's lives through medicine and surgery. Educator, humanitarian, inventor, next. So she was born in Harlem, 1942. You all know that Harlem is a historically black, underserved community in New York. And she was always told by her mother never to settle for anything less than herself and to dream and to consider your options and then ask for help. But anyway, when she was still in high school, she actually got awards for research in cancer. She went to college in New York, then she went to medical school at Howard University College of Medicine. And while she was there, she was the first woman president of Student National Medical Association. So she was a trailblazer, not only for black people, but for women in general. Never settle for less than your best. Next. Do we? Just skip one. No, I think whatever. She did her residency in ophthalmology. You have to go to medical school, become a doctor. Then you do what's called a residency, where you study really what you're going to be, what you really care about, what kind of doctor you want to be. You know, if you wanted to be a kid's doctor, children's doctor, you would do a residency in pediatrics. Well, she wanted to be an eye doctor, an eye surgeon. So she did a residency at UCLA, where she was the first woman to do a residency there, breaking down barriers all over the place. Okay. She was quoted as saying, "My love of humanity and passion for helping others inspired me to become a physician." Well, she did that. She certainly did love humanity, and when she became a physician, she traveled all over the world in underserved countries, taking care of people with really bad eye needs. And in fact, in 1976, she founded the American Initiative for the Prevention of Blindness. And that organization now continues to work all over the world to help people in need. And she felt that eyesight was a basic human right. She was also honored by President Barack Obama for humanitarian and philanthropic services. You know, those two words are kind of used interchangeably sometimes. humanitarians are people who, love the humans and try to help them in any way they can. And philanthropic is sort of similar. I don't know if you know that Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. Has anyone ever been to Philadelphia out there? There you go. But you're here now, right? I don't blame you. I was born in Philadelphia. But anyway, Philadelphia comes from Phil means love, and these people. These are love of people. It's often it's thought of people give a lot of money and stuff, and sometimes that's true, but you can be a philanthropist through your training, your gifts, as well as your treasures. Please proceed. Okay, here we go. This is what Dr. Gujol wanted me to tell you all about, actually. You know, the eye is like a camera. The light comes in, see where it says laser beam, but the light comes in, passes through that thing called a lens, falls to the back of the eye. It's like the film of the camera, called the retina. Next slide, please. Anyway, can you go back to the previous slide? You see that lens, where I said where that green thing goes through, that's light. It goes through this lens that focuses like a lens of a camera. Sometimes that lens, which is usually clear when you're born, gets cloudy as you go through life. That's a nice way of saying as you get old. As you go through life and sometimes through other reasons, but it can get cloudy. When it gets cloudy, then the light can't come in. And that's called a cataract. So you got to get rid of that cataract somehow. By the way, cataracts are the leading cause of blindness in the world. Okay. So what Dr. Patricia E. Bath invented, and she worked on this for 25 years. I was fortunate enough to hear her speak about this 10 years before she really invented it. She's working with this. Is an instrument that goes in the eye and it gets rid of that cloudy lens with a laser. First person to ever do this. First person, she invented it. She was the first black woman to receive a patent for medical purposes. You know, so really remarkable. I guess I just want to let you all know that it's really good to dream, and it's also good to change directions. She did. She did research in cancer, and yet because she decided she was interested in taking care of people's sight, we're all better for it today. And I'm certainly better for it. I used everything she invented for my career. So, next slide. So, thank you very much. It'll be great, guys, and go Tigers.
Thank you, Dr. Minotti. Now, we have talked a little bit about enslaved people so far today. We've talked quite a bit about them. But now I want to, for just a second, focus on their enslavers. Were the slave owners bad people? It's really easy to say yes to that, but I would maintain that they weren't bad people, but they were people who did bad things to African people. Their behavior was bad.
Did they ever apologize?
The great-grandchildren of the people who enslaved the Africans apologize every time they sing Amazing Grace.
Now, before our group plays, before they play the song Amazing Grace, you might want to hum along with it. How many of you know the words to Amazing Grace? Let me just see your hands. Okay, and you might be tempted to sing the words that you know. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. What's the next line?
Saved a wretch like me.
Saved a what?
Wretch.
Like who?
Me.
Saved a what?
Wretch.
Like who? Are you? Are you a wretch? Have you ever been a wretch? Do you know what the word means? What? Come here, baby. Come here. We're going to educate everybody. What does a wretch mean?
A wretch means somebody who's ungrateful.
What?
A wretch means somebody who is ungrateful.
He's saying someone who's ungrateful. Thank you. Come back here a minute. What's your name, baby?
Jonathan
Jonathan what?
Robinson.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, that takes a lot away from what I was going to say to you, but I'm still going to say it. Okay, you may have been taught that you're a wretch if you are not grateful, but the definition of wretch is despicable. So I ask you again, are you or have you ever been a despicable person? If not, you might want to use a different word than wretch when you get to that part of the song. Because the man that wrote the song was a slave trader. He's a person who put people into slavery, and he had a boat and shipped people to this country in his boat. And his actions were despicable. But later, he became a minister, and he had a change of heart. He had a redemption moment, and he wrote this song, and it's true for him when he says, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me." He was a wretch. Again, I say you might want to reconsider and think of a different word for yourself when you say, like me. It could be saved a soul like me, saved a loving heart or a kind person, or a thoughtful person, or a forgiving person, or just put your name in there. But if you really believe you were at some time a wretch, sing the song the way it's written. Enslaved people's history is always about hope. That includes getting free from language that causes you to bow your head to anyone else as if they're better than you. Young people, we want you to hold your head high, and we want you to know that you are as good as everyone else. You matter in our lives. We want you to think highly about yourself. We want you to speak proudly about yourself. We want you to remember that you are capable, you are loving, and you are able. You are a good person.
We never want you to think that you are less than anyone else. Don't speak badly about yourself. You've never been a wretch. You are truly a blessing. You've never been a wretch. You are a blessing.
So, with this hope for a new day, for a new life, it's like having a little spring in the middle of the dark and cold of winter. A little spring song.
Black music from Black history is filled with the light life, from code music to gospel to ragtime to jazz to soul to R&B to reggae to hip hop. It's all a universal consciousness showing us the way to the light.
Everyone has a piece of the light. Everybody is the North Star. Everybody is the drinking gourd. Everybody is a code song. Everybody is the light. Everybody's light deserves to be celebrated. And we have one more selection. We hope you have enjoyed. This should be said by Dr. Bujol.
We do hope you have enjoyed our performances, because this concert is now a part of history. It's a part of the American Black history. Actually, it's a part of world history, and you're a part of that. Remember, Black history is world history, and the Gifford Youth Orchestra history is part of Black history.
Through their study of instrumental music and singing and playing in ensembles, the Gifford Youth Orchestra students learn countless lifelong skills that help them become intelligent and creative leaders. Furthermore, it has been proven that with music education, test scores improve in math and sciences. Through reading music, Gifford Youth Orchestra students learn a new language that is significantly more complex than any other written language, the language of music. The GYO offers students an opportunity to learn and practice leadership, organization, dedication, and teamwork. Historically, they have always done this well.
When you decide to support the GYO mission,
Yeah, you need to hear this. You can mail a check to P.O. Box 691166, Vero Beach, Florida 32969. And I'm always amazed on television how they flash those telephone numbers up there to call, and it's up there for about a half a second, and you're supposed to memorize that? No way! So here it is on the screen, P.O. Box 691166, Vero Beach, Florida 32969. We're even giving you time to write that down and take it home with you.
or you can use PayPal. Send your contribution to the Gifford Youth Orchestra.
Is it yours? Go ahead.
In conclusion, as they perform their final solo for this celebration, we ask that you do one more thing for the Gifford Youth Orchestra. Go and tell it on the mountain.
We're moving to our final selection, and very often introduction of people happens after the last selection, but I'm going to take this time because I'd like to introduce you to our music director, Evan Robinette. Evan. Evan supervises the music education of 79 children in our program, or is it 89? I might have the number wrong. 79 or 89. And he supervises the children and their instructors. We are very proud that he has decided to join our program. And you teach at Storm Grove. Thank you, Evan Robinette. I've introduced you to our vocal instructor, Muffy, and our piano instructor, Ellen Charles. I'd like you to also know our program manager, and that is Kate Mango. I'm sorry. Did I say it right the second time? Kate is the liaison between our administrative department, the board members, and the music director. So that's why you see them moving around so much. I would like to thank as well our guest speakers today who were recruited today, and that's Donna Manis. Donna, stand for a minute. Thank you. And Jack Stiefel, who was recruited 1 minute before the program. Thank you, Jack. I want to thank our president of our board, Jane Burton, for speaking today. For another member of our board speaking today, Tammy Broxton. For Dr. Minotti, who's also a member of our board. And I want to acknowledge Ernie Greer for coming to take photos of us. Ernie was just recognized by the county commissioners for the work he has done in terms of photography and documenting Gifford and Gifford history in his magazines. Thank you for having time for us today. I want to thank our assistant in the corner, Tabitha Williams, who transports the children, supervises them. And Mr. Lewis, our volunteer, who not only registers and signs children in, but he also tutors many of our children. Did I miss anybody? I got everybody. Oh, and just let me acknowledge the mother of one of our graduates from 2015. And I'm acknowledging her because her daughter started at age 7 and stayed with us until high school. And that meant, and what she did, the mother, was attend every class, every performance, every event that we had, taking not only her daughter, but the children that would fit in her car, and the instruments and the music and whatever we needed. She hauled us all around for those 7 years, and I want to just acknowledge her because that young lady, Marissa Rollins, is now teaching violin to 400 children a year up in Platte County, Plant City, as a result of having been in our program. This is like a ripple in the water. So when you see these children, it's not just this group. These are little ripples because they're going to go out into the world the same way Marissa did. Maybe they won't teach music, but they're going to go out into the world and touch the lives of many other people because of the support you're giving to them today. I want to acknowledge Linda Rollins. Just thank you, Linda. Thank you for all those years. And so we hope you'll go tell it on the mountain as we bring our program to a close now with the singing of the Gifford Youth Orchestra, Peace Song.